What's up, Jet Nation? It was a busy day today. I lost my voice. I've been doing interviews for the last 2 days, 3 days. So my voice is a little bit, and I'm fasting. So it's a lot of going on right now. But let's get started. Surprise shocker today. GM Mike Maccagnan has been fired. Woody Johnson announced that today, around 11 o'clock this morning. And it was a shock for all of us. I was actually at the facility talking to guys from the facility as well, and it's just a surprise factor. We didn't think that was going to be Adam Gase, when he was at the NFL draft, was asked if that's correct, that that report that was there, and he said completely no. Tony Pauline, I think, reported it first, and he nailed it. And Manish Mehta and all those other guys, reporters, declined that, but in the end, he did get fired today. It's definitely a shocker, but it had to happen. But the timing is what annoys me, personally. I think Mike Maccagnan was gonna be fired at some point, but this was probably the worst timing possible. After free agency passes, after the draft passes, and then you fire the guy. After all of that, and he brought Adam Gase in. So I don't know what's going on with Adam Gase, but there are guys, I will say later on in this video, who the Jets will possibly target and possibly get as their GM, but it's kind of frustrating to see that. And I do not think it will affect the season. I think the Jets still have a really good shot at what they were doing. They just need to stay focused. They got a lot of good guys in. Bell, Mosley, all these new guys in. Sam Darnold coming in. At least he has his head coach. The GM we know was gonna leave, and he was I didn't really like him as a GM as much as other people did. A lot of people hated him. I was kind of just in the middle and trying to figure out what he's trying to do. He hit on the first rounders every year. It would always fall in his lap. And then, in the draft, he would kind of fall down. And he's known to throwing money out and trading and doing different trades. And a lot of trades have not worked out that he traded for, like Rashard Robinson. So it's gonna be interesting. I wish Mike Maccagnan the best, but it was just I didn't know how to react to when I saw it on my phone that Mike Maccagnan has been fired. So it was just a stunner for us, personally. So who the Jets are looking at now? What's next? I just saw Woody Johnson talk to the media. He said, the Jets are looking very quickly to find and fill that gap quickly. And he did state Adam Gase was not the reason it happened, but I do think it was Adam Gase is part of it. I think he's just saying that, because he's the owner. And I do think we need better ownership. That's just my opinion. The ownership sucks. I think Gary Vee needs to get some money and buy the New York Jets. But it was just kind of slap in the face for the team. We were trying to get some vibes in. We were looking good, and we were off the radar. The Browns are on the radar right now, and now we just made the radar because Mike Maccagnan just got fired, and I didn't want to be seen on the radar. That's the thing. That's one thing I wanted. I wanted to go into the season being under the radar and just seeing, what the team produces, and without all the hype. And I think with the hype, that's when it gets really annoying, and that's when we lose it. And it's just frustrating to see this happen. Just normally, the decision making of this firing was just awful by Christopher Johnson, and I kind of have to say that it's just disappointing at this point. But now we got to look at the future. We got to look at who's coming in next. So the guy that people have mentioned as to be the top suitor for this position is Eagles Joe Douglas. He had relations with Adam Gase, and what I've heard from Eagles fans is they're crying about they shouldn't let him. The Eagles should decline our interview with him, all that stuff. So which means that I feel like we should get him. What I've heard from Eagles fans, beat reporters, and all that stuff, that he is a good GM, and he's definitely going to be a bigger upgrade than Mike Maccagnan. What I'm hearing though is he will be the top suitor because he also has connections with Adam Gase. So that's the reason why Christopher Johnson just declined that. It was because of Adam Gase, but obviously all of us think differently of that. So we'll see what they do with that, but I think he will be the GM. And another guy, kind of a package deal. Adam Schefter reported this too. NFL Network's Daniel Jeremiah. He's a very reliable reporter, and he has a really good football mind. I think he would be a great fit in coming into the New York Jets organization. How the Raiders did with Mike Maccagnan, bringing him in. I think the Jets are trying to do some type of approach like that. We were at the bottom. We need to get back on the top, and maybe with these guys we can, work a little bit younger and different-minded. But what I'm saying is, I think this decision of the Jets to, fire Mike Maccagnan today, out of all the days, they could have done it at the beginning of the season when they fired Todd Bowles. They could have done it after the season or right before free agency, something like that. So it wouldn't just be in the middle of nowhere and we're all having so many questions to ask. It just shows how dysfunctional a little bit this ownership is, but not the team. I think the team is still solid and could win football games with Adam Gase and all the players that they have, but I'm just talking about the ownership. I'm just talking about how stupid they were for doing this and out of nowhere. I'm a fan of, I'm fine with Mike Maccagnan getting fired, like I said earlier. But out of the blue doing this it just doesn't make any sense to me. But we'll see how it pays off. I think we'll see a lot more news tonight into tomorrow. Seeing who the Jets will interview. This week we're probably going to have to be focused on that now to see who the next GM is for the New York Jets. And we'll see what happens, but I'm looking forward to the season, but now I'm a little bit, it's just frustrating as a Jets fan, as reporting for this team, talking about this team every day. It's just frustrating for everyone just knowing that this just happened. We just lost our GM for out of the blue, who should have been fired earlier or later on. But was sometime going to be fired, but it should have been either before free agency and the draft, or completely after. But at least when you're thinking positively, it's only voluntary workouts right now, and nothing permanent has started. Le'Veon Bell is still in hot practice, which is not a big deal. But now when not the mandatory starts, then that's when everyone's got to be there, and maybe they just didn't want him there for the mandatory part, and they would just wanted a different look. And that's what Christopher Johnson just said. He just saw the team and didn't like what they saw, which I didn't. You can just say, look at our record from last season, and you can figure that out. So a 2-year-old can figure that out. So I don't understand a lot of that, but the Jets think they made the right decision. We'll see how that pans out and affects them, but we'll probably have a GM very, very soon. As Christopher Johnson said, that they're looking very quickly to fill that hole, and we'll see how that helps the Jets. How it if it benefits the Jets, but Yeah, we'll see what happens. But team wise, I think the Jets are still near Jets that I expect to be. I still think these Jets can win some ball games this year. But it's just disappointing to see the GM just leave this early, like not early, but just in the middle of everything. So we'll see if this smacks him in the back a little bit. But let's just wrap this up. I just think it's frustrating. I'm frustrated right now. I'm tired with all this interview, and I'm frustrated just hearing this news. So I just gotta hope for the Jets, hope for the best for the team, and you know, we'll see what happens. All right. The only thing I can do is root for the Jets.